Excuse me, everyone. We are two of Steve and Corinne's friends. They asked us to welcome all of you as you came in today. If you know Steve and Corinne well, which, because you're here, you do, you'll know that there are two things that are really, really important to them, and that's Jesus and their people. So they wanted us to welcome you guys and say they are so thankful that you guys are here. People came from everywhere, all across the nation to celebrate. And what their dream is that you guys have a great time and that their friends meet their friends' friends and their friends' friends' friends today.
Yes. They thought it was really important that they wanted to thank the Callahans in front of everyone. And so we just want to thank them and want you guys to take an opportunity to thank them. Also, this is just a PSA. Please don't pull your phones out. This is from me to you. Don't do it. All right? You're going to ruin the photos. We love you. You have another chance. Just don't do it during the ceremony. We're so grateful.
The pastor is going to come up in a few minutes and share from the Bible. Some of you may have read some of the Bible before. Some of you maybe never have. But they're going to come up and share from that just what a beautiful image of what today is. One of my favorite lines out of the whole Bible talks about how God loves us even though we don't deserve it. And today is a celebration of that type of love. Steve and Corinne are entering into a love with one another where they're going to love each other through a commitment no matter what, even when the other doesn't deserve it. And their love for each other is just a beautiful image of what God's love is for us. And they want to make sure that everyone knows that that's truly what we're celebrating today.
Yeah. The beauty that we're going to see is just a glimpse and a taste of what we're going to see in heaven. And so if you've not accepted that love, I know that their deepest desire is that you would see that love and that you would accept that love. We're so grateful you're here.
who gives this bride to be married? I know. Just gonna grab this for a quick sec. I got you guys this. Can we take a moment for a quick prayer together? Lord, thanks for today and the tears of joy that have already been shed and will continue to be shed probably for the next 12 hours. Lord, I thank you that you gathered us here today to celebrate wonderful things happening. In your name we pray. Amen. This is not just a wedding ceremony and a party. It's actually what we call a worship service. And so what we're going to do is we're going to spend some time singing. And since that's not something that normally a bunch of grown-ups in a room do unless you're at a concert, that's okay. If you're not a hymn person or not a music person, that's cool. Just enjoy a room full of people being happy and joyous like kids, singing out the blessings that God has given us. But if you are a hymn person, I would invite you to turn to the middle of your hymns, and we're going to spend some time together singing some hymns. Father's love for us, how vast beyond all measure, that he should give his only Son to make a wretch his treasure. How great the pain of searing loss, the Father turns his face away, as wounds which mar the chosen maybe seated. Just let me know what I need to hold. I think we'll make it through.
My lacy hanky.
Yeah, I would love a lacy hanky. That's Stephen, Corinne, I don't know if this is sunk in yet, but you made it. We're here. It's today. Something special and miraculous is happening. Today, you're getting married. Is this real yet? Does it feel? You had like moments this morning, like amidst all of the like picking out dresses, like this guy right here is going to be your husband. Like this wonderful woman right here is going to be your wife. No more like doodling your first name with his last name on your trapper keeper with like a bunch of hearts all over it. Like this is for real. In the middle of all the other things that you've done to get ready for today, something wonderful is happening. And marriage can mean a lot of things to a lot of people, but at its basis level, all it is committing to choose each other always. In good times and in bad. Okay, well, I'm not going to look at you guys. In busy times and in lazy and frustrated times and in easy times, you get to choose each other. And it's that continual choosing of one another, that faithful committedness to one another, that something really amazing happens. That two people become one. Whew. You guys are bad at this. Two lives will merge and intertwine. And it's not that the words you're going to say today are magic, but it's that you get to live out these choices for the rest of your life. That we're not so much celebrating all the moments that brought you up to this, but we're celebrating all the choices that you're going to make from here until your last day of choosing each other. Today, you make a deal that you're going to choose each other always. And trust me, as a married person, that is like a really good deal. Any other married people, is that a really good deal? A bunch of husbands were like, yes! I don't want to sleep on the couch tonight. It was a great deal. When the Bible talks about deals, normally it uses the word covenant, but that's just another word for deal. But when we talk about covenant, it reminds us that we're not doing this thing by human standards, we're doing it by God's standards. Normally when people make deals, it's like, I'll give you something and you'll give me something in return. Like, I'll give you $50 and you'll give me like a Holofoil Charizard trading card. And if you don't give me that Holofoil Charizard trading card, I want my $50 back. But that's not how it works with God. When God makes deals, even when people are faithless, He is still faithful. When people are untrusting, He remains trustworthy. And that's the type of deal that you guys are making here today. And I hope that both of you will be trustworthy throughout your relationship, but I also know that that's not always going to happen. Sometimes little secrets are going to grow into big ones. Little resentments are going to grow into bigger frustrations. But marriage isn't an agreement to only do the right thing when they do the right thing. It's not like you only put the dishes away when she's already put the laundry away. It's not like you're only good to him when he's been good to you. It's a time when you get to choose each other, and even when you have a season where you're low in energy, or you're filled with self-doubt, or you're struggling with being selfish, in this covenant you get to keep choosing each other. Do you guys want to hold hands? You're free to hold hands. You just can't kiss. You're like, touching is allowed, just no kissing. I can see you guys were like really holding back. You feel free. And when you choose each other that way, you get to grow together. For those of you who don't know me, hi, I'm Dan. I was once Corinne's youth pastor, and I get paid big bucks to think about marriage and God and stuff. And when I think about marriage, one of the things that makes marriage marriage is that continual choosing of each other. That it's knowing that you are chosen regardless of what parts of you show the other person isn't going anywhere. You get to be fully you and fully safe. It teaches you to love the other person as they are, not as you want them to be. It lets you have fights and disagree on how you see the world and know that you're always going to come back together at the end of it. It lets you mess up, and even mess up big, and know that Corinne isn't going anywhere. Like, Stephen definitely isn't going anywhere. And you get to keep choosing each other and know that every day of your life you are chosen, and you are loved. And not just if you do the right things and avoid the wrong ones, but you are chosen and you are loved always and forever, because today Corinne promises that she'll do that. Because today Stephen vows that he will do that. And because today, even though you won't hear his voice, God also calls out, I do. That he promises to be faithful to your marriage as well. And even when you guys are struggling, he will still be there and be faithful. And he's not going to force his way in with some strong, booming voice like, Stephen, you're making a rookie mistake. Stop fighting about where the towels go. That doesn't, he's not going to do that. But when you are attentive to his spirit, you'll know when pride is getting in the way of love. When you have your focus on Christ, you'll know how to serve each other well, even when it's hard. When you are obedient to God, you'll be reminded that his plan of honesty to one another is actually a better way of living, and you don't need to hide yourself anymore. You can share openly and know that the other person is there. Today, you guys make vows and a deal to always choose each other. And God makes a deal too, to be faithful to you both, to support you and guide you in marriage so that you can experience the good life he has for you. And you guys know there's a lot of people and a lot of us sometimes get this opinion of Christianity that it's a bunch of rules, a bunch of things that we have to follow, a bunch of bad things that we can avoid to be good people, and that's like never the goal. The goal is so that you can live the good life that God has for you and that you can enjoy it with him. And there's this beautiful piece of scripture where it's just after Christ has died and come back, and his disciples have returned to fishing and gone back to like their everyday life, and he meets them where they are, and he calls them over to throw some I was going to say shrimp, but it's not shrimp. It's not shrimp on the Barbie, some fish on the fire, and have breakfast with him. It's like this beautiful moment where he's gone through this harrowing time, and normally when Jesus gives commands, we feel like we need to do this internal soul searching, but the command that he gives them in that moment, and I quote, is come and have breakfast with me. And that's the invitation that covenants that we make with God is. It's an invitation to come and have breakfast with God and to enjoy each moment as a moment with him. And you guys know this, right? Like, you already share these things. You worship together, you read the Bible together, you do small groups together, sometimes you teach together, but there's something about the act of being married that is a lot like your relationship with God. Like, a lot of times when the Bible talks about marriage, it's using it to talk about our relationship with God. There's something about the closeness of marriage, about the commitment of marriage, about the love and forgiveness in marriage that's a lot like your relationship with God. And speaking from experience, there is nothing like my marriage that shows me what it's like to be loved and cared for and enjoyed by God. And Corinne, there's going to be something about learning to trust Stephen that's a lot like learning to trust God. And Stephen, there's going to be something about learning to submit your own plans for your own life, to make new plans with Corinne that's a lot like learning to submit to God. There's something about learning to forgive and be forgiven without guilt or record of wrong or penalty that is so like our relationship with God. And I know that marriage isn't for everyone, but for people like you who have chosen it, there is nothing that is able to show you what it's like to be loved by God than like being chosen by your wife or being continually cared for by your husband. And in this growing together and growing towards God, you'll find that you guys are truly blessed. And I can see it in you today. Like, there are moments when you don't even realize the rest of us are here. Like, you guys look at each other and you're like, oh, we're in a room full of people. I need to be conscious of what I'm doing. Like, but those moments are fleeting because you guys know something that I know and that God teaches, that God's blessings are best when they're shared. A lot of times we talk about marriages like it's the bride's day, and both of you, as you've talked about today, is like, no, this is a day for everybody here. Because you guys know that God's blessings are best when they're shared. Most of the time when God blesses people and makes a covenant with people, it's so that they can bless others. And this marriage co is going to be one of the best things in your whole life. Like, this is going to be, Stephen, one of the biggest parts of your entire life, one of the most meaningful things to you, but know that it's not just about you. I can't look at you. The joys and stabilities and blessings of your marriage are going to overflow. Because that's how you guys do things. Like, there's this temptation in marriage that when your family is good and your marriage is good, to just build big walls to protect it and like withdraw in to just the two of you. Well done. What a good provider. And just hide away. But that's not how you guys do things. When you root your marriage in the covenants of God, you let your blessings overflow. And it's something I see so strongly in the two. It's something that we all learn from the two of you, that it's not about protecting what you have. It's about sharing it in things like Bottomless Tuesdays. That is what it's called, right? Great. I felt uncomfortable saying that in front of church. Where like you open up your house and you invite people in to share laughter and joy and friendship and probably margaritas and just like a good time together. Your marriage isn't just for you. It can be an overflowing spring. That was super precious. To share your blessings with others. And that's who you guys are. You are a friend and a confidant. You're an uplifter and an encourager. You're laughter and joy and commiseration to all of us here. And it seems like it comes so naturally to the two of you most of the time, but I know that it's something that you work at because you let God's blessings overflow. It's a lot of the reason why we're all gathered here today. Like, it's not just that we all love weddings. That I do, but some of you have probably been to more weddings that you want to be at, and it's like hot, but we're here because you guys have invited us in. because you guys have been someone who overflows blessings into our lives, and you share those good things. Just like the invitation that Jesus gave on the beach to come and share breakfast, we receive that invitation from you guys all the time. Like anytime we talk to you, the joy of Christ is like right up front. The care and concern of Jesus is like ever present in your speech. Like whenever we just get to hang out with you, it is so clear that we are invited into deeper and more meaningful relationship. The both of you turn friends into family. And so I can say probably with utter confidence that you don't have any friends in this room. You only have family. Because you guys do what Jesus does. You turn friends into family. Instead of building up walls, you break them down. So just take a minute and look around the room at the people who are gathered here. These people are your family. In good days and in bad, these are going to be the ones who support you in your marriage. This thing that you're entering into is not something that you do lightly, and not something that you're going to do easily, but it's also not something we're going to let you guys do alone. This is a room full of people who have your back. Those of us who are here and those of us who couldn't make it, we are people who have your back and who want only the best for you. So I'm just going to stop talking to the two of you for a minute and talk to everybody else. They're going to make vows in a second, but I don't want you guys to feel left out, so I'm going to ask you guys to make vows. You're not going to be married, but I am going to ask something of you as well, okay? Can you guys feel like you can do this? Some of you are like, I was not prepared for any vows today, but we know that marriages work best when it's supported by friends and family. That they're going to take these vows that are deep and meaningful, and they're going to enter into this lifetime commitment together, and you have the ability to make that better for them. You have the ability to help them choose each other always. And so when you have moments where you can remind them of the things that they love about each other, when you have moments where you can encourage them to forgive each other, when you have moments when their finances are tight, but you can slip them a 20 so they can have like a cheap date night at the custard stand. Like, I want you to do that thing because marriages work best when they're supported by friends and family. You guys are supposed to be the one crying, not me. So what I'm going to ask of you is, if you're willing, will you, in whatever way you can, support Stephen and Corinne choose each other always? If so, say, we will. These are your family of friends who will have your back not just today, but every day moving forward. Because this thing that you do in marriage is something that you get to do daily, and it's not easy. Choosing Stephen today is easy because he looks fine. But he's not always going to look like this. It's just like faith, marriage is not something that you do one day when you're dressed up. It's something that you get to do each and every day of your life. When the body that you love has gone slouchy. Sorry, bud. When your kids won't give you privacy even when you just want to go to the bathroom. When you've had like a long day at work and you just come home frustrated and it's difficult, you get to keep choosing each other. And the beauty of marriage is you guys can walk back together. I know that this distance is hard for you. Is that even when you do it wrong and you're going to get it wrong, you have tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow to do it better. In just a moment, you're going to make some vows, and you're going to be able to finally kiss today, which I'm sure has felt like a really long wait. But you're not just saying some words and trading some jewelry. You guys are making a covenant, a deal empowered by God, a deal supported by all of us here and enacted by each of you every day of your life as you choose each other always. Let's take a minute in prayer, and then we can get the two of you hitched. Lord, thank you for this couple, for the ways that they have been a blessing to each of us and a blessing to each other. Lord, I pray that you would empower these vows that they make, that they would stick with them throughout their entire life, that they would be able to hold these to the best of their ability, and Lord, that even when they may struggle, that you will continue to be faithful. Stephen, you ready? Would you repeat after me? I, Stephen, take you, Corinne.
I, Stephen, take you, Corinne.
To be my wedded wife.
To be my wedded wife.
To have and to hold.
To have and to hold.
From this day forward.
From this day forward.
For better, for worse.
For better, for worse.
For richer, for poor.
For richer, or for poor.
In sickness and in health.
In sickness and in health.
To love and to cherish.
To love and to cherish.
till death do us part,
till death do us part,
according to God's holy promise.
according to God's holy promise.
Corinne? I, Corinne, take you, Stephen,
I, Corinne, take you, Stephen,
to be my wedded husband,
to be my wedded husband,
to have and to hold,
to have and to hold,
from this day forward,
from this day forward,
for better, for worse,
for better, for worse,
for richer, for poorer,
for richer, for poorer,
in sickness and in health,
in sickness and in health,
to love and to cherish,
to love and to cherish,
till death do us part,
till death do us part,
according to God's holy promise.
according to God's holy promise.
You guys have the rings? Stephen, as you place the ring on Corinne's finger, please repeat after me. Corinne, I give you this ring
Corinne, I give you this ring
as a symbol of my love for you,
as a symbol of my love for you,
unbroken and pure,
unbroken and pure,
because of Christ in me.
because of Christ in me.
And Corinne, would you repeat after me? Stephen, I give you this ring
Stephen, I give you this ring
as a symbol of my love for you,
as a symbol of my love for you,
unbroken and pure,
unbroken and pure,
because of Christ in me.
because of Christ in me.
Having made a covenant with the Lord, and by all the power vested in me as a fellow servant of Christ, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride. All right. Announcing for the first time, Stephen and Corinne Herman. Oh, goodness. Fancy boy over here. Over there and get a head start on celebrating, just not too much of a head start. Sound good? We'll see you guys later, okay? Good home.